Well then, morning all. Been doing a bit of research. The National Police Chiefs Council has raised its head above the wall, saying that it's given a directive that all forces now are going to attend every burglary and they're going to coordinate the issue. Well, who are the National Police Chiefs? Well, let's have a look. I'll just tell you now that I'll have to read it, of course. It coordinates police forces' collective operational response to national threats such as terrorism, organised crime and national emergencies. Well, that's fair enough, isn't it? What does it mean? Certainly doesn't mention burglaries being visited every bloody one. And then, of course, it's led by Chief Constable Gavin Stevens. He's the chairman and is supported by Chief Constable Michelle Skeer and Rachel Swan, who support him as vice chairs, in addition to their day jobs as chief officers within forces. Well, that's all right, isn't it? All over the news, cleverly's lapped it up, believing every word. So let's have a little closer look. Such an esteemed body must have leaders with a good track record. So let's have a look at Gavin Stevens. He's the full-time chairman. He's only been there about a year. But anyway, he's put his foot down and he's going to give directives now about the burglaries, everyone being visited and what have you. And every chief constable is going to do as they're told because he knows what he's talking about. Well, he used to be with Surrey County Constabulary and he'd been there 20 years, most of his police service, and he's been promoted through the ranks in Surrey. Now that's probably a force like something in Wales where sheep shaggers and rustlers are mainly the bread and butter of arrests. But when the force was last examined by Her Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary, the force was found to be inadequate for service to the public. Well, that was Mr. Stevens. Well, there we go. What more could you ask for? Well experienced and obviously looks fit for the job. Well, Gavin Stevens is supported by Michelle Skeer. Now, she's not a chief constable at the moment. She has the rank, but she's a member of His Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary and that fire brigade. So there we go. There's a bit strong. But she served in Cumbria Constabulary for 33 years, promoted through the ranks. Well, there must be a lot of experience there, mustn't there? Can't just be sheep shaggers again. Well, it's the smallest force after the square mile of the City of London. It has a population within of 500,000, with 1,391 serving police officers and an admin staff of 550. Now, you won't have heard of Cumbria really, but you will have, because remember Nicola Bulley, who disappeared and was found to have fallen in the river weeks later? Well, that was on watch with Detective Superintendent Rebecca Smith taking command, and her only claim to fame was the fact that she attended a police press conference dressed apparently like an applicant for Love Island or a porno MILF with a pencil skirt, high heels and everything else, totally glamorous for the press. So there you go. What more do you need? Can it get worse? Well, just a bit. we've now got Chief Constable Rachel Swan, Chief Constable of Derbyshire, a forever failing force, been in the news as long as I can remember. Well, of course, she looks the part, doesn't she? That's the main thing. And in the last HMI investigation of 2022, not too long ago, the force required improvement in 5 categories. Failed to meet its own targets, failed in incident response and preventing crime. But it goes on forever with subtitles and what have you. And there we go. She's going to be in charge, with the other 2, of instructing the likes of Greater Manchester Police, under the control of hard-nosed Steve Watson, Bent Andy Burnham, and of course Merseyside, which has a lot to do but has certainly jumped back to life after half the residents were being shot. But anyway, it was certainly nothing to do with Rachel Swan, you can bet your life. Have you had any idea of how to complain about the service you're getting from this likely little crew? You could go to the Inspector of Police Conduct, couldn't you? Well, you could, but they're in a little bit of turmoil at the moment because Michael Lockwood, the head at the time, has been arrested on 3 counts of rape and 3 counts of indecent assault. Well, that's the calibre of men that were recruited, who conducted their police service, which he did for many years, only to be caught by a 14-year-old girl. But, you know, I'm sure your complaints would be dealt with properly. Well, the National Police Chiefs Council has come out with an early directive telling you now, if you're not satisfied with complaining to the police, you can complain to Crime Stoppers. And the Met set it up immediately, and GMP have joined in, but they've put a little mild stipulation on it that you can only complain about corruption and serious abuse. If your burglary isn't being visited or anything else, you can sod off. So anyway, there it is. Now, having complained, as I have, and my loyal followers will know, for many years about Philip Schofield abusing Matthew McGreevy, well, it churned on and on and on, this, twittering like mad, never really properly complaining, until 2 or 3 weeks ago when I submitted a claim form. Now, when you get right to the end of this form, and I did it, not anonymously as yours truly, I've had no acknowledgement, no contact. And the last paragraph, I offered to give all the material I had, which you're not allowed to connect with the form. So I was happy to hand it to them, and it's all photographs of Schofield with Matthew McGreevy, very young on many occasions, as you can see. And lately, there's been a Daily Mail, Sunday Mail exclusive, proving that Schofield paid McGreevy £150,000. And this was then corroborated by Schofield's own solicitor, who was backed in a corner. So now we've got a man who claims to have done nothing and yet has paid 150 grand for silence and even got a signed notice, NDO, non-disclosure. So why would you do that if you're innocent? So I've complained again to the police, had no response, so I've taken up this line with Crime Stoppers. And then you find out that it doesn't really go any further. They pass on the complaint to GMP, who will then ignore it. They don't refer back to Crime Stoppers, they don't even a reference number, so it's an absolute load of bollocks company relation exercise which doesn't even stand up to initial investigation. But Crime Stoppers have given me a reference number, so it's recorded now that the police have it. And the Crime Stoppers number, in case I get shot or anything or met with a poisoned umbrella, is ISR 240326867655570. Seem to get a few complaints there, don't they, at Crime Stoppers? Anyway, we've got that now going through the system. So let's see what happens. Jack Warner would roll in his grave. Well, Dixon and Doc Green would anyway. That's all.